I want to say thanks to everybody that made in the travels. We got guys from northern Michigan. I know Carl and some of those guys had to take a train. The planes didn't work, the cars didn't work, so they came by train. Got guys from the Dakotas, so I told a lot of you, my Canadian people were calling us all candy asses down here in Kansas City because of this 9-inch snow that turned it into a state emergency. So I'm taking a lot of heat on my emails and text messages from guys being stranded out in Cleveland or all the through Detroit and everywhere else. So a lot of heat on that. I apologize. I don't know what, we've kicked around and talked about doing a destination location like Florida or maybe Arizona. We'll go down and stay at Randy's place in Arizona, or some of the other guys that got places, or head down there where it's warm. We may have to do that coming up in the next few years, but we always like to have it here. They had the Western Farm Show in town. The PBR is in town. I'm going to go. Hendershot, what night are we going? I think we're going Saturday and Sunday, the PBR. We're going to go over and watch the bull riders. So the bulls made it in town for those folks that asked last night. We're just going to kind of probably do a lot of improv type stuff today. There's supposed to be over 300 people here. We got a good, close, intimate group. So I would encourage everyone to ask a lot of questions. Try and let's get as much out of it as we can. I think it's going to be a great event. There's going to be a ton of food, ton of drinks, whatever you guys need. Take home leftovers if you need to. We'll have more than enough, I believe. So, and that's the kind of thing. We had to lock in the caterers and the facility and the venue and the speakers, and we got some great speakers on board. All of them made it except Grisafi. Last night, he's a buddy of mine I traded with in Chicago. He's going to try and do a thing by Skype. It'll be kind of cool and fun, but he tried to get to Midway, couldn't get out yesterday. They bumped him to 3 o'clock, then 6 o'clock, and I told him just check it in. He was supposed to fly out again this morning. Well, Casey, I only had one runway open, so they bumped again. He couldn't get into one. I just told him we'll try this thing and see what happens via Skype. So some folks have paid me to do Skype the last couple of years, and it worked pretty well, so we'll see how it goes. So everyone, I guess, just bear with us a little bit on the impromptu stuff. Ken's going to talk first, Ken Ferry, and he's going to run through some things, and he's got to obviously try and get on the road to get back home before the next little wave comes in and the roads get worse. So when you have questions or things like that, he's going to run through a spiel, and at the end of his talk, we'll go ahead and open that up for questions on that front as well. Every year I kind of like to go through and do what I call my board of directors. These were the guys from 2011 up here. Let's see, George Richmond's here, Matt Norman I think's here in town, and Robin's here. Everyone else, they had to tap out. It was too much for them. So, and Robin, where you at? Where's Robin Moll? Right there. I got your misspelled award right up here, Robin. Last year I gave Robin one with the wrong spelling on it, so this year I'm going to fix that. Dan Anderson's not here. If I can have the guys come up. These I just give to guys that always send us good information, or sending us things, telling us what's going on out there. They go around to a lot of conventions and things of that nature and try and keep us up to date with what's happening. So is Cameron Funk. Cameron, come on up. Where you at? I know he's here. Come up here and get this. I just went to dinner with him last night, so I'm going to give this to Cameron. I appreciate it, Cameron, for all your help and everything you give to us.
Hey.
Thanks.
Man.
Appreciate it, buddy. Yep. Cameron had a buddy of his that, just give you an example what we try and do. Cameron had a buddy of his that crashed a plane last year. In bad shape, wasn't he, Cameron? Yeah. Real bad shape. Cameron called and said that his wife needed help with marketing and some things moving forward, and Cameron said he knew he could count on me to help him out and try and do some things for him while he patched it back together. How long was he in the hospital? He was in there a long time. A month or so. So, we try to do what we can do. And if you guys have that situation come up, Steve Musselman, I helped some guys with his wife, got one of his buddy's wives passed away, and we helped them out and tried to do some things for them. So if there's some hardship cases that you guys know of out there and guys need help or there's anything we can do, we try and do our best. So, or at least get them in touch with people that can. Spurgeon's not here. Christy, where's he? He not here? Where's Ken Harrison? See how flying that chopper around out front? Yell at Ken when you get a chance. Yeah. Ken's a good guy. He was with the RMA. He was with the USDA for 20-some years. Some of you guys that were here last year heard him talk. He does a lot with insurance and some other things. Now he's got that helicopter out front that he was kind of showing some guys you know, how they can use it with their fields and things of that nature. But Ken's constantly sending us good information, good news. He worked with a lot of good people in the USDA, so I constantly can rely on him for our USDA information when we need it. So, Ken, come up here and grab this. I was just telling lies about you. Where's he at? I told him you're always sending me good information, good jokes a lot of times. That's right. So if anybody needs anything, talk to Ken. He's a good source of info, like I said, especially from the USDA front and things of that nature. You agree? I told him you're trying to sell some helicopter out there now or something.
It's an up-and-going thing.
Well, up-and-coming thing. Check it out. He'll show you. You going to fly it around in here, Ken?
Not with you around.
Perfect. Doc Cottingham, where you at, Doc? Doc's back here. I know some of you guys know Doc used to be the main guy at Farm Journal, wrote a lot of stuff did a lot of stuff, I should say, with the equipment side of things, and Doc's always sending me good information and good material, so appreciate it. Sometimes good. Sometimes. We read good stuff last night, remember? He sent me some weather info. It said, the weather information said, we expect the yield to not be as good as trend line. But if it rains, it could be better than trend line. Doc asked me, what do you think that means? And I said, Doc, I'm not even dealing with it. So, who else we got that's here? Anyone? One of the FCS guys, come up and grab Bob Box. Whoever's going to take it back. Bob's done a lot for us. I have to leave Sunday night to go around and speak at, this is Randy Davis. Yep, that's for Bob. Bob runs it. He's one of the guys at FCS that's helped us get involved with the state of Missouri, and we kind of, what they do with us, and some of the guys in Illinois and I are doing similar type things. When you guys put on crazy hedge strategies or things that your advisors advise, sometimes they're not sure if it's right or wrong or how much it's going to cost as far as lines of credit. They'll shoot it over our way, and then we'll kind of break it down and just get a better sense of what the total risk is going to be for them. So we've known FCS is starting to take a lot of steps. In Nebraska, I know they're giving guys huge lines of credit, completely separate from their operating line. You know, $1 million, $2 million. We got some guys, $3 million lines of credit that are just able to hedge and do some things with ACHs and things that have been really nice. And I think that's what the market's going to tend to go towards, especially as we get out and look at 2014 and things of that nature. You're going to probably have to start being able to take advantage of some bigger hedge accounts. We were talking to some folks yesterday and last night, and that's really their concern and their worry too, is 2014, 13, you know, we're probably going to lock the insurance in, but 14 here could be a little bit of a concern and issue, and carrying that type of balance on the hedge could be extremely painful. So you got to make sure you get good relationships. We like what FCS is doing in all across the U.S. So we work hand in hand with those guys, and we're going to go out and speak here next week to several of their farmers. So I appreciate everything they do. I don't think anyone else was able to make it, so Chase, if you want to grab those, and kind of just for the day, I mean, I kind of used this last year, that famous line that Gates has always said, you know, we overestimate the change in the next 2 to 3 years and underestimate what will happen in the next 10. So I think we kind of have to look at that as we move forward and how that plays out. So today's agenda, like I said, we're just going to probably have to ad-lib it a little bit as we get through here. What I'm going to do when I talk on some of these issues, I'm going to take everything that guys have asked me, the main questions that have been fired out as I've traveled around the country this winter speaking, every time at the end, what about hyperinflation? What's going to happen to land prices? What about the currency wars? What does all that mean? How about the Fed? How does all that play in? So I'm going to try to answer all of those questions that I fielded as we've gone around. So I hope that will be interesting to everyone. It'll be a little different than the traditional things that you've heard. Just to give you an update, this was just sent to me right before we came up. That's why I just loaded it up. This is what the USDA released this morning for everyone, so you can see what we're up against. See that number right there? 480 is what they're predicting for the average price. That's cheaper than we were in 2010. Ending stocks right there, $2 billion. There's your ending stocks in 10. I'm forewarning everyone as we pay attention today as we go forward here, because there's going to be some issues if this can come to fruition. Look what they projected here in 10. I mean, we were at 1.1 billion. We were at 518. Here you've doubled the carry, 480. So that 480 could be pretty high even. I'm letting you know. I mean, there's a lot of funds out there talking. You could have 3 numbers in front of that if that number goes up. So we're going to listen to these guys talk today, and I think you need to get a better idea and understanding what they're seeing, like Ken out in the field, what some other people are seeing. We'll go through the balance sheets. I mean, we can talk supply and demand numbers all day. I mean, they bumped ethanol higher. You know, it's just however you want to crunch the numbers. If you guys look here, soybeans, this is the number they just released this morning, 1050. It's cheaper than you've been any of the last 3. Ending stocks. You see that ending stock number, 250. There's guys out there talking 3 plus, 3 to 4. So we're going to probably need to really, this year more than the last couple, guys, is pay close attention to how this plays out, especially with the funds trying to maneuver around here. And I would say more of them looking to exit the ag industry than jump into the ag industry right now. So that's where it's going to be a different setup than last year. If you guys remember that came last year, of all the guys I had come speak, I was the only one that was bullish. Everyone was bearish as could be. Now, I think I got lucky. I think we'll just call it getting lucky probably, that the drought hit like it did and things progressed. But the funds last year didn't have the mindset they have this year. So that's what I'm saying. I want to make sure as we go along with some of the guys that are going to speak, let's just keep the numbers in mind that the USDA has thrown out. And there's just kind of your balance sheet. I'll make sure everyone gets a copy of all the slides that I present today. So I know Ken keeps his stuff and he does some of those things, but you guys need to, like I said, take due diligence on the note taking, ask a lot of questions. Like I said, we got a good small group here today, so I think it should be a great show. We're going to try and move it along as quick as we can so guys can get back and fight the snow some more. That looks like the plan. So that's all I got. I'm going to turn it over to Ken, let him kind of get some things set up. We'll start to move along that way. Chase, did you want to? Where's Chase? Tim's going to help get him set up. You need this? No. What'd you guys think of those exciting prices from the USDA? Damn, that's not the way to start it off, is it? I hear you. So we're going to see what happens. I think there's several things there's some optimistic, bullish cards in the deck, but we're just going to have to see if they play out this year like they did last year. Unfortunately, I think we're going to be facing tougher headwinds from the outside markets, especially the macro markets and what the funds are going to do and how aggressively they're going to play it. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the Fed plays out. I know we'll get in deeper as we go through today about how the Fed and what they're doing and their motives and how entangled that is into these commodity markets and these prices. So I think if they back off on this quantitative easing, which it looks like they could do, it could be a little bit detrimental to our prices on the commodity board. So remember, this massive devaluing of the U.S. dollar is what's helped prompt this commodity run. So if we see that curtail here moving forward, I think we're going to have a little bit of an issue and some headwinds that we didn't have the last 2 to 3 years.